Last month, we got a call that one of my dear friends and your neighbor had someone who was having some work done to his home. And all day long, they were in and out of the house. At the end of the day, somehow the couple were in their basement relaxing and they heard a noise in their home. Turns out that there was someone who had been watching, went into their homes, and when they discovered that there was someone actually there, they ran out. This morning, I got a call from the village president. He says that over in the Olympia club, someone had done a porch pirate. These are incidents in which, in our town, although we have the best, we have the best town in the country. We have always had a legacy of being safe, and we want to continue to have that. So today, I want to first say hello and welcome you to the Public Safety Workshop. Now, this workshop is sort of designed to be a little different in that we want to make sure that real life situations that occur within our environs are going to be asked of our presenters. And before I do any of that, I want you to know that it is so important for me to acknowledge right now our sponsors. Our sponsors of this event is the Village of Olympia Fields, the Olympia Fields Park District, as well as the Public Safety Committee. Many of these members are here today. The only other thing that I would say before I bring on the next speaker is that thanks to those who are not only in the audience, but those who are on the new technologies like Zoom. This is being broadcasted, and at the same time, hopefully next week, this will also be taped for those who cannot join us today through YouTube. These technologies, however, have a lot of challenges, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. At this time, what I would like to do is to bring up my wife of 38 years, Pam. Pam is one who has been with the news business for we'll just say a long time. I shouldn't have said how many years we've been married, but we hope that this was going to be an interactive discussion about safety protocols in our town. Without further ado, please welcome Pam Oliver.
Thank you. I'm so happy to see so many of our residents participating. I'm thrilled because information is, you can't put a price tag on it. You can't just buy it. You can't just assume you know because you're well informed or that you read the papers or that you watch TV. So this is really important. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking your time to do this. Because we have so many challenges, I just want to just give you a couple examples of personally how this has affected us. We almost lost our life a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, when we had a carbon monoxide leak and we didn't know. It was about 5:30 in the morning and we heard this really strange sound. And it wasn't like your normal alarm. It was a strange alarm. And Kelvin and I looked at each other and we're like, well, what's that? That doesn't sound like it's an alarm. While we're debating about what it is, my son, who was at the house, said, do you all hear that? Do you hear that? We're like, yeah. So we go and investigate. And within a minute, our phone was ringing and it was our alarm company saying, your carbon monoxide detector is going off. And I said, we were just on our way to investigate. And they said, you need to get out of the house now. And I said, well, should I call the fire department? And they said, we've already called them. They're on their way. And the next thing we knew, no, the doorbell was on. We heard the alarm. We left the house. We had a carbon monoxide detector, and it saved our life. And so when the firemen came, Chicago Heights, they have their detectors out. They're trying to find it. They go down to the basement, and it gets louder and louder. The thing about it was, it wasn't at peak, but it was very close to peak. What we didn't know was where the monoxide detector was placed was actually not close enough, and those levels should not have gotten that high. We didn't know that, but they said, call your alarm. Yes, it saved your life, but call your alarm company and tell them it needs to be moved. Almost died. We could have, but we were blessed because of our alarm system. We've also been victims of scams, and they appeal over the years. As intelligent as we think we are and aware, they've taken advantage of our emotions. So that's another place where they get you. So what we hope to do in this case is to have your questions and have these fine experts, these gentlemen who know what, because of what they've seen, how to protect us and keep us protected, keep us safe. First thing I want to do, though, before I even introduce them, are a couple of video clips that you will see, and you'll see some familiar faces.
As the Ukrainian people fight to defend their country, Ukrainians in Chicago collect donations to send to the front lines.
I know it. I know we win. We win. We survive. And after that, we become better than we are right now.
Donation drives like this one on Belmont show just how many people across the Chicago area want to help the people of Ukraine. Here, they're collecting items like first aid kits, tactical gear, and meals ready to eat.
We're told these supplies will be on a cargo plane headed to Ukraine tomorrow, hopefully ending up where they are needed.
I don't think anybody's certain about anything in life, but all we can do is try to do what we can. We can't sit around.
There appears to be a growing number of ways to donate supplies and funds to Ukraine.
The Better Business Bureau wants consumers to give, but give wisely.
The Better Business Bureau says if you plan to send money through a charity, be sure to ask if the charity can get to the impacted area, if it is experienced in providing emergency relief, and how much it spends on charity versus administrative costs.
Donating to a well-established organization and using, if at all possible, your credit card for donations, because that's your safest bet against fraud.
Meanwhile, these volunteers say they are doing what they can to help.
Makes us focus on some of the positive versus just watching in silence the genocide that is happening.
Chris Coffey, NBC5 News. In Elmhurst, residents are concerned following Sunday's attempted carjacking in the 500 block of North Emroy.
I've been living here for 30 years and I never heard anything like this.
Police say a man shoveling snow was knocked to the ground by two men who demanded his car.
He started fighting back. Ultimately, he noticed that one of them had what appeared to be a rifle on him. He grabbed that, was able to get it away from him, and at that time, the two offenders ended up fleeing the scene.
The 60-year-old victim suffered minor injuries. Turns out police say the gun was only a replica, but security cameras captured this picture of the men who police say did it.
Elmhurst is a very safe community. The last time that we had something similar to this has been several years.
In Naperville, police say two men stole a woman's Dodge Charger at gunpoint in the 400 block of East Bailey Road on Saturday. And Aurora police say two gunmen pulled a woman out of a car at a Wendy's parking lot Saturday when she was shot and seriously hurt. Police are still searching for her 2015 red Hyundai Santa Fe. It's not clear if any of the weekend incidents are connected.
Police say if you're outside your car and someone strange comes up to you and demands your car, it's best to comply. Otherwise, police say if you're inside a parked car and you can do so, leave.
Meanwhile, police in Olympia Field say there have been 3 carjackings at local gas stations in recent months.
That's why we tell people when you're pumping gas, lock your car doors, stay off the cell phone, pay attention to your surroundings so that you don't become a victim.
They've made an arrest in one of the incidents so far, and police are touting the benefits of its village alert system for residents. Chris Coffey, NBC5 News.
Pretty good, right? Addressing some issues and taking advantage locally of the experts that we have to do that. So I'd like to take the time right now to make some introductions. Derrick Blasingame started his law enforcement career 26 years ago in Minnesota. He's worked for the Harvey Police Department from 97 to 2003. And in 2003, he joined the ranks of the Olympia Fields Department, where he's moved up the ranks to his current position as chief. He has attended and graduated from the Northwestern University Police Staff and Command School, and while there served as vice president. He is a strong advocate of community policing. He understands the importance of bridging the gap between the village and the police department, and one of his highest priorities is developing and enhancing programs to engage the community. When Derrick is not working, he enjoys traveling with his wife Lynette and spending time with their children and grandchildren, which, by the way, he is celebrating an anniversary, and he's come off his anniversary to participate. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Lieutenant Wendell Thomas has been a member of the Chicago Heights Fire Department for 22 years. In total, he spent more than 27 years of experience in the fire service. He is the lead training coordinator and is in charge of the department's public education and fire prevention divisions. Lieutenant Thomas is also a licensed paramedic and has served in the Ingalls EMS system since 1995. Thank you very much. Steve Burness is the president and chief executive officer for the Better Business Bureau of Chicago and Northern Illinois, and he is the president of the Better Business Education Foundation. Over his 30-year career, he's mediated thousands of consumer and business-to-business disputes and has also had extensive training in alternative dispute resolution conflict. Mr. Burness is responsible for the overall leadership and day-to-day management of the Better Business Bureau. He works with the board to establish vision and drives revenue and impact for the organization. He will build out a strategic plan and ultimately implement the plan in support of the businesses BBB's mentioned. Who's heard of the BBB? Anybody? Raise your hand. Have you had any involvement with them whatsoever? You will now. You're going to find valuable. I learned so much from not just reading the press releases and reading and hearing about articles like this. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want to start out with Chief first. I really want to have a discussion. So he won't just, spew out a lot of information, but really have a discussion and have you ask questions, okay? But he's going to talk to you about the importance of so many issues. And I started out with a carjacking because just last week, Senator Dick Durbin and Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart had a meeting. Durbin chairs one of the judiciary committees, and this discussion was about what? Carjacking and getting federal funding. Federal funding, because it has gone, the numbers are up every day. We lose track. There have been, I think at this point, maybe 200 plus carjackings on 957. I know people who don't even want to drive into the city because they might get carjacked. And there have been shootings. I said 250 carjacking, I mean shootings on 957. And so I know that police departments, suburban police departments, are working with other departments to get some control of that. So is that something you can address right now about the issue of carjacking? It's not just happening in Olympia Fields.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to grab something off the table over here. Okay, the state and the county has a carjacking task force, which we send our detective and other officers to their meetings and training whenever they offer those trainings and meetings. And as Pam stated, there is federal funding to help crack down on the carjacking, particularly in Cook County and the Chicago surrounding suburban areas. A couple of things I want to talk about. And number one is one of the initiatives that we're putting forth to better connect and bridge the gap between the police and the communities. One of those is what we call Meet Olympia Fields police officers, where we'll hold either at McDonald's or the Shell gas station over here on Western, what we call coffee with the chief or coffees with a cop. Now, the first one is going to be March 17th from 9 a.m. to 10:30, where you can show up at the gas station, have coffee with myself, and any concerns you have, we can try to address those issues for you. Another program we have that I want to talk about is our camera surveillance. Now, a lot of people get a little worried when we talk about using their cameras. But in many, many communities across the country, people who have cameras on their homes, whether it be Comcast or Ring doorbells or Blink, allow us to have access to those cameras when there's a crime committed in their neighborhood. Now, we're not saying let us go into your cameras and look at your cameras. We're saying you take a look at your camera. If there's anything valuable to us, give it to us so that we can use it to track down that criminal or that person that might have done something bad in your community. Now, if you want to participate in that program, we also have this on our table over here, along where you can sign up for that camera program, along with our Have Coffee with a Cop. Also, we have in Olympia Fields, which many communities have, what we call our Code Red. Now, that's how we send out alerts to the community when scams are going on, if it's going to be bad weather, or if we got active crime going on in the neighborhood. But in order for you to get that alert, you have to be signed up for Code Red. And the way you do that is you go online and you can sign up for Code Red with the village. And if something happens in the village, I usually send out what's called a Code Red, telling you what happened and telling you what you need to do. Briefly, real quick, I got some of my officers here with me today, and I just want them to introduce themselves real quick and tell you how long they've been with the police department. We'll start with Sergeant Metzger.
How you doing? My name is Scott Metzger. I'm a sergeant with Olympia Fields. Prior to Olympia Fields, I did 6 years at University Park, and I've been with Olympia Fields now for 19 years. I'm from this area. I grew up in Old Madison. My grandparents lived on Brookwood. Been to these schools, played on these playgrounds. It's been a great community. It's been a great place to work. That's all I got for you.
Billy?
How you doing? My name is Officer Tolley. I've been with this department for about 8 years now. I live in an area in Country Club Hills, and now I moved to another location. I love this community, this area. Love it a lot. Thanks.
How's everyone doing today? Detective Corporal Don Dean. I've been in Olympia Fields going on 18 years. Prior to that, 6 years in Sherrill, Indiana. I cannot say enough about the cameras. I'm on the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force. 90% of our serious crimes lately is because we got leads from the cameras. Please, please sign up for it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Officer Wanawie. I hate to say it after all these guys, but I've only been here 4 months. I'm a new officer. I'm currently in the academy. We have 5 weeks left, and I cannot wait to get here and work on the streets. Thank you.
Officer Lefko. I'm also been here only 4 months, but in the academy, and very excited to get started working in this community as well.
I'm Officer Zachary Scholl. I'm also in the academy. We have 5 weeks left, like they said. I lived in Olympia Fields for 14 years. I currently reside in Moments near Bourbonnais. But I am excited to start working actually on the street and not just the academy. But thank you guys.
Thank you guys for coming up. If you want to have a seat, you can have a seat. We'll have more of our officers coming in and out during the program to introduce themselves. I guess this is the part where I open it up for questions that you might have. The main thing you need to know about carjackings is, especially when you're at the gas station,
Pay attention to your surroundings. If you're out your car getting gas, lock the car doors. If you're going to go into the gas station to pay for your gas, make sure you turn your vehicles off. Make sure that the doors are locked. A lot of times when people call and say someone stole their car or someone carjacked them, we'll get to the gas station and we'll find out that they left their car running with the keys in the car while they went inside the gas station, and somebody saw it as a crime opportunity and they just got in the car and took off. So the most important thing is turn your car off, lock the car door. When I'm getting gas, I turn my car off, I put my keys in the pocket, and I'm outside the car the whole time, paying attention to what's going on around me, no matter where I am, because I'm not that person that's on the news at night saying, I thought this would never happen in my community. Well, criminals are mobile, and they all take advantage of what we call opportunity. They see you not paying attention. If you don't make direct eye contact with people, sometimes in the gas station lot, if somebody's walking towards you, make direct contact with them. A lot of times that make them change their mind because they see you paying attention. Even when you're going into your garage, before you open the garage door, look around, see if there's anybody sitting around in a car or somebody standing around. Then open your garage door. As soon as you get in the garage, let the door down. After the door is down, get out of your car. Don't get out of your car until the door is down. Stay in the car with the doors locked. Once your garage door is completely down, then get out of your car. Because a lot of times you'll see on the news where people sneak into your garage while the door is up and you didn't see them sneaking into your garage. If you're in your car and somebody sneak up to your car, they got a gun or something, forget that garage door. Put that car in reverse. Get out of there. Call the police. Garage door can be fixed. We can't bring you back if somebody do some harm to you. Any questions? Yes, sir. Well, I wish I could tell you that there's one hot spot, but it's not. These criminals steal cars and they drive around looking for victims. So you can become a victim anywhere. A lot of the carjackings are going on in the city of Chicago. So obviously, whenever you're in Chicago, wherever you are, pay more attention to what you're doing. But there are no hot spots. Treat every area like it's the same. That's how you stay safe. So if you're in Olympia Fields, Frankfurt, Matson, Naperville, treat it the same. Because criminals are mobile. They can get in their cars and go anywhere. And get right back on the expressway. The Shell gas station in Matson on Varma, the Speedway in Olympia Fields on Varma, the BP. That's a good point. Whenever you can get on and off quick, that's what they're doing. Yes, sir. No, sir. A lot of our cars are being taken when people leave the keys in the car and the car is running. I did. I brought that up earlier where I said make sure when you're pumping gas, you turn your car off, keys in pocket, lock your car doors. A lot of times you'll be at your car pumping gas and somebody will open the door on the other side, take your person's cell phone, and they back on the expressway on the way to Chicago before you realize it happened. So lock your doors, turn your car off, lock your door, keys in your pocket. We don't have mini burgers, no, sir. Okay. Yes, ma'am. So the question is, what other things can you do if you're confronted? Most of the things that you can do are preventative.